Today, we are going to take a deep look into police altercations where officers viciously crossed the line and heavily paid the price for their actions. Hasta la vista, baby. Number 5. Dylan Puente. A young man in his mid-20s was driving on over to his grandma's home in Keller, Texas. He makes a sharp turn, and that's when police officers decide to pull him over. The following is a body cam recording of Sergeant Shamanik asking Dylan to exit his car and placing handcuffs on him, all because the officer felt Dylan was acting in a suspicious manner. To bring even more rubbish drama onto the scene,
Now shut that window. Open it now. Step out. Right here. Face that direction. Face that direction. Put your hands right here behind your back. Don't move, you understand?
The sergeant explained in a police filing that he ended up taking Dylan to jail later that day because he feared retaliation from Dylan and feared his own safety was in danger. When Dylan was in handcuffs, his father spots the dilemma and happens to pull next to the scene. In a rude and ill-mannered tone, the officer then yells at his father.
Park over there.
You said I can. It's my right.
You are interfering with my job. You need to go park over there.
I rolled up my window like you said. It was my right to roll up my window.
No, it's not.
Marco, stating that if he did not park his car and get out, he would arrest him for endangerment and blocking the street.
About to be arrested for blocking the roadway if you don't park and get out.
His father followed orders and began recording the unlawful incident with his cell phone. The sergeant was displeased with anger, so he asked the other officer in his car to place Marco under arrest as well.
Watch him.
Stand here?
Yep. Ready yet? Arrest him.
But what happens next will just bring chills down your spine. Both officers, for no apparent reason, tried to tackle him to the floor, apply pepper spray to his eyes, and even grab his phone out of his hands. All Marco was trying to do was record, and in this next clip, you can even see the officer brutally applying burning pepper spray right into his pupils.
Standing here, and now he's taking my phone away. You get sprayed. Okay, spray. Put your hands down. Spray. God, spray. I'm not even doing anything.
Marco soon commented on the incident, stating that what happened today was a complete joke, as it was a pure example on abuse of power held by police officers. Although Dylan paid the ticket given to him for his illegal turn, the Texas Police Department stated that the events taken place that day with Marco are a pure example of unlawful and unprofessional behavior. The Internal Review Board found wrongdoing leading to a dismissal of Sergeant Shamanik's ranking. He was demoted from sergeant to just a regular police officer. Number 4. Jacqueline Craig. In Fort Worth, Texas, a lady by the name of Jacqueline Craig decided to contact 911 when she found out that her neighbor had choked her son, all because he threw some trash in the street. The last thing she would have ever imagined was being repeatedly abused by officers that day.
What do you mean?
If you keep yelling at me, you're going to f me off and I'm going to take you to jail.
The following recording shows the officer belittling the woman asking her, rather, why she didn't properly educate her son on reasons not to litter. She responded that the officer had no means to place his hands on her son. The officer threatens her with an intimidating tone, stating that if she gets him angry, there will be harsh consequences of jail. His young daughter steps in, standing right between the officer and her mom.
You're under arrest.
It's at this point all hell broke loose. The officer has completely lost control of the situation. He rushes to pull out his taser gun, savagely pushes both women to the floor. The video does not show if he did pull the trigger of the taser or not. But quickly, after you can see him arresting both mother and daughter and yelling to the top of his lungs as both women resisted arrest. But not that easy, Mr. Officer. There are harsh consequences for all of your actions. The Fort Worth police station decided to punish him after taking a look at the submitted recordings. He soon received a suspension, but unfortunately, only for about 10 days in total. On the bright side, Jacqueline Craig's used legal action against him and filed charges in court, with the Texas courts rewarded her almost $150,000 in damages. Number 3. When a man in his mid-40s was attaching his boat to his car in Ronhard, California, he all of a sudden realized an officer was approaching him. Acting quickly, the man decides to record the officer. The officer immediately slammed on his brakes as he didn't agree with the filming of the man, regardless of the fact that the filming of an officer is not illegal. Now you won't believe what happens next. Out of anger, the officer started to film the man in retaliation, and we are not joking around. Within seconds, the officer steps out of his car and approaches the man, requesting for him to release his hand into the air and take them out of his pockets. But not without a fight, as the man simply said no.
Hey, go take your hand out of your pocket.
No, sir, I haven't done nothing. I've done absolutely...
I have done nothing wrong. But the officer was not in a good mood that day, and as you can see, he slowly takes his gun out of his side strap. Making drama out of nothing, the officer then decides to call his superiors for backup. At this point, the man is terrified, pulling out his wallet and car keys, placing them on his vehicle. It was at this time the man starts to panic, questioning himself. Is this officer really going to shoot me for a simple recording?
You don't touch me. You don't touch me.
I'm at that address. So
You don't touch me.
hey, man.
No, you don't touch me.
When I tell you to take your hand out,
I've done nothing. Nope.
Walking backwards, the man repeatedly yells, "Don't touch me." As the man questions the officer, all he can say in a conceited and egotistical response is, "All this is happening because of your filming." The officer then asks the man if he is some sort of psychopath or demented nutjob, all while waving his gun around. Within minutes, the officer comes to a realization that he made a mistake and starts to retreat. The incident was such a shock to the community that the official town mayor had to step in and conduct a deep and thorough investigation of the event. Number 2. In June of the year 2021, a grocery store clerk called the cops when a homeless man was begging for money at his store. When police officer Cavender and his colleague came to the scene, they saw that 65-year-old Timothy is sitting in a wheelchair. As they searched for his name and identity in their computer system, they soon came to find out that he was wanted by the court system, as he had 5 pending warrants for his arrest. But the arrest would come with a fight, not because he was big and strong, but simply because he was handicapped and in a wheelchair. The poor guy was not of violent nature, but when he had his chest to the floor, the savage officers decided to tase him up to 4 times for no apparent reason at all.
Are you gonna walk or not?
When the recording of that day was submitted to the police station, St. Petersburg Chief Officer Anthony Holloway stated that the brutal use of force that day was unnecessary, and with all the resources available, the last weapon of choice should have been a taser. Thankfully, the officer was dismissed and is no longer with the police force. And lastly, this next clip shows a recording of a man filming Officer Livernois belligerently cussing out and immensely intimidating a young teenager.
huh?
Just chill out, bro. Just put it out.
It's out.
Just put it out.
You got a problem with me?
You got a problem.
If you listen closely, you can see a group of the boy's friends telling him to take it easy and please calm down. The officer places his hands on the teenager and pushes him against the hood of the vehicle.
Bro, just chill, bro. Reggie, hey, don't resist. Reggie, don't resist.
Thankfully, a nearby boy tells Reggie not to resist, leading to Reggie to control his emotions and cooperate with the officer. But out of nowhere, the unthinkable took place. The cop then grabbed the back of the boy's neck and starts shaking him back and forth, as well as squeezing tightly. As a result, the officer's behavior just brought hatred and unease to the spectators, causing them all to yell and panic. One of the nearby boys even ran up to the cop's face with rage and confronted him for his unjust behavior.
Grab his
Bro, don't touch him.
Bro, don't touch him, bro.
Thankfully, he let go of Reggie and started yelling at everyone around, threatening them that if they don't back up, they will all be spending the day in jail. This horrific incident led to the Florida State Police Unit to investigate Officer Livernois's actions that day, subsequently terminating him from the task force for reason of unjust police conduct. If you liked this video and want to see more awesome videos just like this, please subscribe and tune in every week for thrilling videos.